No.
Okay. Hey, everybody, welcome into Sports with Balls. My name's Lauren Leal, joined with Jeff Michael, of course, and here at Christian's Tailgate in the Heights. I was laughing a little bit because I already thought we were live counting us in, but
here we are.
Joke's on me.
Yeah.
Here we are.
It's
got
okay.
the Red Bull in hand. You got your drink in hand. Topo Chico.
I am partaking in a little bit of the sacrament this evening because I went to the Astros game today.
Okay.
The what do they call it? The businessman special, right?
Like businessman special. What does that mean?
The afternoon games, the Wednesday afternoon games, and
okay.
It's throughout the league. Usually Wednesday afternoon games are.
You're saying you can go there, take like your coworker or boss and have a meeting, talk, but enjoy yourself.
Businessman special, yeah. It was awesome.
So who did you take in your business?
Well, actually, I got taken by Joe Applewhite.
Oh, nice.
Great friend of the show. Joe Applewhite took me.
How fun.
It was a blast. And, we have a lot of people, of course, because we do this for a living and we've doing it for a long time. By the way, 205 or 6 shows now.
That's great.
Unbelievable. So, got to see a lot of people that I haven't seen in a while. And it was awesome to go experience the MLB and especially watching the Astros, who obviously I root for. But it was the first time that I've been to a game with the new rules. I haven't been to a game yet this season because prior engagements.
Well, it's only been a week. It's only been a week, granted.
But it was interesting.
Yeah.
The new rules are interesting.
Let's kick it off. Let's go there. We'll start the show with some baseball then. Talk about your game today in your business chat. The new rules. It makes the game very, very fast, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, okay. Last night I'm laying in bed and I'm watching the Astros play. And they did a half inning in 1 minute and 58 seconds. Now, I said
that's crazy.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
I said last week that I am all for because I don't like idle time. And what the MLB is trying to do is take away standing around. And I get it. I completely understand it. And I said last week that I was okay with this. And I was all right with these rules and what the MLB is doing because, look, they're catering to a younger audience. And I heard Buster Olney earlier this afternoon say that now his kid, who's 18, 19 years old, sits down and wants to watch the games because they're a little quicker. Being at the game, I got to watch the pitch clock. I got to watch the batters get in there. I got to watch everything that was going on. And I got to tell you, it's a little fast.
Too fast?
I think so. And I told you last week, I'm all for this. But now being there at the game.
The actual experience of it,
it's
right?
Fast. You turn to talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. And before you turn around, like you can't get it halfway into a conversation. And that half inning's over.
And that's what baseball is been all about. Like baseball's pastime is going to relax, enjoy, and take your time. Like you said, it could be a business chat, could be a business ball game, or you could go with your friends and you don't mind having those long conversations with your friends or, mom, dad, whoever you take with you to the game because, you're not going to miss much.
Yeah, you're not missing a lot.
If you turn your head and they hit a ball, great, home run. But then, it's going to take a while for the next batter to come up, get in the box, and get ready to go.
Yeah, see, on television, and this is where it gets tricky. When I'm watching the games on TV or following them on whatever app I'm on watching the scores, I'm kind of okay with it. But when I am there live, I'm sort of not okay with it. And that's what I'm saying. I'm sort of conflicted. Like when you're there, like you said, you want to kind of take everything in, take the experience. Now we're a week into Major League Baseball. We're a week into the scores are way up. I
was just about to say all the runs are super high from all the scores that I'm seeing. And my sister went to the game last night and I was going to talk from her experience. You went today. She went last night, Jeff. She said the same exact thing as you. She was like, oh my gosh, it's 10:30 p.m. and I'm already home. It's great because it's a work night, but at the same time, she was like, I kind of miss it because the exact same scenario, the conversation, she was like, I got up to get popcorn and I got back and the inning was already over. And
it's fast.
And she was like, it's just a little too much. 20 seconds on the pitch clock. It's not enough.
So this is what happens, right? So when the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher, for those of y'all that have not figured this out yet, when the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher, as soon as the pitcher catches that ball, it's a 15-second clock that starts. 20-second clock that starts. All right, and then it counts down. The batter has till 8 seconds he has to be set, not even in the box. He has got to be hit ready. And if not, they can call an automatic strike on him, stuff like that. And that we saw last night, it's been all over ESPN and other networks where Manny Machado got thrown out of a game. When he called time with 8 seconds left, the ump did not give him time. Then he argued the call. The ump threw him out of the game, which in turn is giving the umpires a lot of power.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people didn't like this. And so watching this live, which is my first time to go to the game, and I stood in the outfield so I could see the clock and watch everything. Last week I said I'm all for it, and I'm a traditionalist, and I love the old school game. But now I'm kind of backtracking. I like the idea, but I think this is way too fast. And especially if you take this concept into the playoffs where there's no building drama, like bam, 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 go, 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 that I don't like.
It changes the game for sure. I mean, it brings it up to the pace of football, not quite basketball, but it definitely brings up the pace. And I said this on last week's show too. I just wonder if this degrades the pitches and the pitching, and that's why there's so many hits and runs being scored right now, because it's harder on the pitcher, it's easier on the batter, but the batter's got to get set in a specific time too. So there's different things going on and how this can affect. I think that pitchers are going to get used to it if this continues to stay, which unfortunately, for the reasons that we've been saying, unfortunate that it might stay. However,
yeah, look, you've opened up the can. You cannot close it. It's like the transfer portal in college sports or the NIL. It's open. Like, you cannot close it. Now, can you adjust it? I hope they do. I don't know how they would figure this out, but check out the scores. This is the score from Monday night's games.
All right.
7-6, 10-0, 12-3, 6-7, 11-1, 8-1, 6-2, 7-6, 9-5, 8-4, 7-3, 12-11, 4-5, 13-4.
That's what MLB wanted.
Whoa.
MLB got it.
This is like NBA on steroids.
Y'all wanted more offense. Here you go.
Yeah, it's we asked the question prior to the season starting, and of course they implemented it during the preseason and these games, and tried to figure out how it can work on whether the batters would have an advantage or the pitchers would have an advantage. Right now, batters
100%.
Batters all day long. This is insane. You're seeing 20 run games, 10 plus runs per game. I mean, constantly, maybe 60-70% of the game.
So let's turn it around a little bit. 162 baseball games in a season.
Yep.
Home and away. If you are a baseball player, if you are on the team, whether you're a pitcher, a batter, whatever, wherever you are in the lineup, I'm just curious what they're thinking. Are they liking this? Because after one game's over, guess what? They got to get ready for the next night or the next day game. And then the next
But
game,
it's quicker.
and then the next series. So, they might actually kind of be in favor of this because there are
the batters
many
have to be
games.
Yeah, the batters have to be.
So many games. It's
You're
like,
looking
okay,
at 30, 40
if it
minute
ends it exactly
shorter games.
I was just
like,
about to say, if it
this
ends it
that's
close to an
lot.
hour shorter, then
And if you take this a step further and you
Then
go
the
into
Players
extra inning
Association-
games, you're talking about a game that's an hour to an hour and 15 minutes shorter. Like, that is absolutely insane. And we're only a weekend, right? So we talked about this last Thursday, and here we are the following Wednesday. We're a week into season, and all these things are taking place. And now we've kind of got a good idea about how these games are being played. You're seeing a lot of high scoring. You're seeing batters and pitchers. I mean, fast pitchers being out of their their normal routines. The one thing we don't talk about that nobody has said a word about is the shift.
that's true.
I love it. Nobody has said a single word about, before the uproar was like, oh, the shift, let him play. And there was, it was split maybe 50-50. But nobody said a word because it hasn't really affected that much. The defensive play is great, but the shift rule, no big deal. Or the bigger bases.
Well, hold up. There's more offense. That's why the shift is being silenced and people aren't in uproar about it, because it's easier for batters to score runs. They're not able to chase down the ball like they could have, or already be on the side of the plate to get the ball right to them.
Yeah, it's baseball's interesting right now. It's very, very interesting. And I'm sort of retracting what I said after going to a live game today and watching how fast. And last night, the Astros did a half inning in 1 minute and 58 seconds. Sub 2 minutes for a half an inning. I'm sorry. That's not right. And I look, again, I just, that's too short.
It just changes the game.
You're going to see if
it changes.
If Greg Maddux was pitching, you would see a sub hour and a half game. That, like, by the time you get to the game, settle in, it's the 3rd or 4th inning. You have 2 innings to grab a beer before the 7th or 8th inning hit, and they shut it down, and then you're done.
I feel like we're getting a chopped up version of something that they would do in another country.
Great way to great way to put it.
What is the game overseas that is equivalent to baseball? I can't remember. I did it once when I worked at a news station. Cricket.
Yeah, Aussie Dan would have to argue with you on that.
Aussie Dan?
Yeah, remember the comedian Dan that's joined us?
Dan. Yeah. I didn't know his first name was Ozzy. We always
I'm
Dan,
sorry. Yeah, he's Dan Green, comedian in LA now, but he's from Australia.
Aussie?
Well, that's it in my phone. He's Aussie Dan. So
Aussie.
Aussie, like
I
Australian.
Aussie as an Osborne.
Oh, no,
like
no.
Ozzy Osbourne. I'm like, who is Aussie?
Yeah, Australian. Dan Green, we need to get him back.
Dan Green. Yeah, he's hilarious. Okay, so I can talk to him about cricket, see if they've changed any of the rolling over there.
Well, it was funny because he came on the show last year and he was like, don't you talk to me about baseball when you got to sit there for 3 hours and watch this, blah, blah, blah. I would love to know his thoughts now. Like, are they going to speed up cricket? Cricket games can last what? Jason, how long cricket games? 4 or 5 days?
Depending on what style of cricket, it could go days.
Yeah. He said it could go days.
Do they speed up cricket? I don't think so. Is this why pickleball is becoming real popular? I got an invite.
Love pickleball. By the way, I did not realize pickleball has been around for a very long time. Apparently, it has.
What? Like how?
Like I was listening to a radio DJ the other day, and she was talking about how she played it growing up, and now it's like a real thing. It is a real thing, but it's been around for at least 20, 30 years.
I got an invite the other day to go to a pickleball class.
Well,
my daughter likes to play it. She's 10. And then in their community, they're like, hey, and she's like, come on, Dad, I want to. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
So it's going to teach you.
Well,
really.
I feel like that
pickleball's fun.
I just feel like I'm going down an old man road.
I've played pickleball.
I've
only played once at you should try it at the place in Houston, 9 hole, 9 round, 9 something like that. It's a golf course and they have pickleball courts.
All right. Well, we'll
on the golf
check
course.
it out. Speaking of Houston, we are at Christian's Tailgate live in the Heights. Look, check us out. YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, all the social media accounts. And if you don't catch the live show, check it out on the podcast. If you missed anything, it's on Amazon, it's on iTunes, it's on, Spotify, wherever, every podcast network we are on. All the shows are on there. Last week's show, this week's show, we're live on there. We want to thank Christian's Tailgate for having us here. Also want to thank Diamond Auto Spa. Our boy over there, Austin Bauer, putting it together. 346-319-5961. Go to www.diamondautospa.com. Go get your car, truck, tank, whatever you got. Go get it taken care of. He will take care of you, man. Good stuff.
Awesome. Well, Jeff, you were talking about getting old man with playing pickleball. Well, I was looking up. Today is Wednesday, April 5th. What national day it is for a couple of things.
Uh-oh.
Talk about feeling old. It is National Flash Drive Day. Remember flash drives? Anybody?
Flash drives, aren't they like
flash drives, like the floppy disk?
Floppy disk. That makes more sense. I was like, flash drive, what are you talking about? I thought flash drive was like a USB.
Yeah, kind of. Like you put the information into
floppy disk. I do remember. I feel like my generation got absolutely hosed on this computer thing.
I know, it's like the square size on which one.
When I was in high school, computers were just coming out, and I'm not trying to age myself.
I took computer class in elementary school.
But it was like, you got to press this plus this plus this and backward space this and this, all this stuff in order, like a program, right? And like we were like, yeah, whatever. Like, we were going home and playing our Nintendo, the original one. And
Game Boy
I feel like we got
with
completely
the light.
Yeah, we got completely hosed, like as far as like computer wise, because we didn't learn it. I learned no computer skills
Hey,
in high school, and now
but now you know him. Now you know
my
him.
8-year-old son in 2nd grade comes home with a laptop and knows how to work it. He has a YouTube channel now, by the way.
What, Cole?
Yes.
He's so shy. What is he doing on YouTube?
Oh gosh.
Oh, that's cute. That's cute. Got to check it out.
Well, it's because you and I do this show and
It encouraged him.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, I want to
He's
YouTube.
inspired.
Yeah,
he wants to be dad. How sweet. How
good
sweet.
way to
It's
look at
also National Caramel Day. So if all you caramel lovers out there, get your caramel on. I'm not one of those. And I love this one. National Deep Dish Pizza. I love me some deep dish pizza.
You're a deep dish? Or you think you're deep dish?
Oh, I'm deep dish.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'll eat thin crust. It's okay, but no. The
Jason,
crust is where it's at.
deep dish or thin crust or regular? Thin crust, me too. Yeah, thin crust.
See, a lot of people like thin crust.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. Now,
exactly.
Look, if you're in Chicago, of course you're going to eat a deep dish
Blue
pizza.
Maldinis.
You're not
Blue
eating a deep
Maldinis
dish
is the
pizza
best.
in New York, right? You're going to, thin crust pizza in New York.
Thin crust pizza. Yep.
I'm down with that. All right, since we're on the pizza thing, do pineapples belong on pizza?
No. Absolutely not.
Jason's got a different view.
No, it's like
I think so.
I would take it off,
Hawaiian,
but it would leave it tasting weird.
Hawaiian pizza is good.
I ain't
I'm sorry.
about that.
Hawaiian pizza is absolutely delicious. So
What? What?
I'm down for it.
Ugh,
I'm
nasty.
absolutely here for it.
Y'all are nasty.
All right, we were talking about Major League Baseball, and I want to get to the standings as of right now. Lauren had her picks last week. I had my picks on opening day. Tampa Bay and New York top the American League East. Cleveland, Minnesota, like we said, top the Central. In the AL West, where the reigning world champion Houston Astros stand, are in third. The Texas Rangers and the Los Angeles Angels, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, who we said were actually going to have a decent year, they're tied for the lead. Now, look, I get it. 6-7 games in. I understand.
And we're talking about a lead where the Astros lost
Angels.
quite a bit.
I know. Look, the Astros will get it together. They're missing Michael Brantley. They're missing Jose Altuve.
We missed Michael Brantley all last year, and look at us.
Yeah. In the AL, the Los Angeles Angels and the Texas Rangers, big surprises so far.
Yeah, I mean the Rangers. Are you kidding me? Yeah. Are you kidding me?
They are.
They did have some off-season moves. I need to go look at their lineup, but they did have some off-season moves to increase their roster.
The Tampa Bay Rays in the American League are 6-0. They are plus 31 run differential. They are crushing the baseball. Absolutely annihilating it. If we move over to the National League, you go to the East, Atlanta Braves and New York Mets at the top, sort of like we figured. Philly and Washington sort of at the bottom, like we said. Milwaukee Brewers, Pittsburgh Pirates in the Central. And then if you go to the West, the NL West, the Dodgers 4-2, San Diego Padres 3-3, and then Arizona, San Francisco, and like we said, Colorado. There's not many shockers as far as that's concerned. I think the Astros will put it together, but so far for me, like I said, the Angels and Rangers being atop of the AL West, I love it. I think the competitiveness in the AL West now is going to be fun to watch. And you have some pitchers now in Texas. They made a lot of offseason moves, and so Arlington may have a team to root for.
You can say Dallas.
Dallas
Cowboys too. Arlington Cowboys doesn't work either. So
that's true.
It's the same thing.
Why isn't it the Texas? The
Houston
Dallas Rangers? It's the Texas Rangers
because that's just their name.
That's frustrating. Okay, speaking on the Texas thing, real quick, while we're on this, are you okay with Cowboy and Astro fan being the same person?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
That's my family.
Really? Oh, that drives me nuts, man.
Because we grew up on the Cowboys. There wasn't any.
I wonder how people in San Diego and LA feel, right? Like, can you be a Padre fan and an LA Rams fan? I doubt it.
No, the thing is, it's not. If you're having two baseball teams in the same state, that's a problem. But a baseball team and a football team, the same state, different cities, I think that's okay. If you're asking about the Giants versus the Padres, well, then you got a problem if you're fans of both.
Yeah, and Giants in LA, obviously notorious rivals, but now you got the Padres in there who are playing pretty decent baseball. But again, those are the only real surprises right now. Nothing jumps out at me as far as home runs are concerned, RBIs, or anybody absolutely playing out of their mind right now. It's the very beginning of the season. We're only 6-7 games in, depending on where you are.
I did see Jordan spank one last night. I'll say that much.
Yeah, Yordan Alvarez, 2 home runs, 8 or 9 RBIs, tied for the AL lead. Normal baseball right now, except for, like I said, I'm going to retract a little bit on my comments from last week saying I'm not a fan of how quick this pitch clock is. It is fast. Even because I went to the game live, it's fast. Like, it's really fast. And even watching last night, I went up to go to the restroom for 2 minutes, right? The half inning lasted 1 minute and 58 seconds. I'm sorry, that's short. That's real short. There's no time to build drama. Do
we know if these plans change in the post?
No, they stay the same. And that's what I think everybody's going to have a problem with that. Loaded bases, bottom of the 8th or bottom of the 9th inning in a really tense situation. You got 10 seconds. No, like, you want to build that intensity.
And
the fans getting up.
And you know what's different too? Like, obviously basketball's a faster sport, but they can foul to stop the clock. Baseball, clearly you can't do that unless they hit it out of the park.
Yeah, you can only, if you're a batter, you can only call timeout one time. That's it. That's all you got. And then, you have 8 seconds to get in the box.
That's
and
so
get going.
Weird.
It's awkward.
And the thing is, batters shouldn't need to have that responsibility.
I'm okay
because they should be focused on the game. They shouldn't have to call timeout.
There is a lot of standing around in baseball. I get it, and what they're trying to do is eliminate that thing, and they're trying to, I guess, make the game a little bit more forward and fast, and it is. But I would like a slower progression. Not, okay, here you go, bam. Like, it's almost like the NBA throwing in the 3-point line, or the NBA said, you know what, we're going to move it back to high school level. Here we go. Then you're
just have 2 halves. No. It's like the NBA going back to college. I mean, we just watched it over the weekend with the Final Four, 2 halves.
Yeah,
instead of 4 quarters.
It's the only thing that happens. I absolutely, we brought that up last year on the show. How even NCAA women's championship 4 quarters, or women's basketball in general 4 quarters. NCAA men's 2 halves. It's all money with that. Now, they said it may change in about 10 years.
All that,
but absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a weird situation. Speaking of Final Four, though, since we're there, why not get into it from Sunday or Monday night, I should say.
Thank you, UConn.
Did you go to FanFest?
I did not, but I won a bunch of money.
Well, I went to FanFest, but I did not win a bunch of money. It was really, really cool, the setup in there.
I saw T-Gray over there shooting 3-pointers. I saw you. Didn't you dive into some sort of foam pit?
It was so fun. Yes. There was a setup to where they had a goal set over a foam pit. It just reminded me of my gymnastics days, but dunking the basketball in it and just falling into the pit. But yeah, they had a lot of fun games out there. But the concerts, you got full-length concerts for free.
Yeah.
You had Keith Urban that played over close to 2 hours. Tim McGraw over an hour and a half. Little Big Town, Mickey Guyton, I heard, was amazing, and she has a beautiful voice. But yeah, FanFest, NCAA, y'all are doing it right. They even had the Ferris wheel out there. It was like the little rodeo.
I was a big fan of the whole tournament. I think that everybody.
Yeah, let's get back to the basketball side.
I think
I was just talking about FanFest.
I think everybody wanted the blue bloods in there, right? You wanted the Kentuckys, the Dukes, the North Carolinas, but we had FAU, we had San Diego State, we had these new guys. Look, UConn was it was one of the most dominant performances throughout the tournament that we've ever seen. In fact, it was top 3 or 4 as far as point differential. They annihilated teams throughout this tournament.
Well, yeah, because look who was in the tournament. The players that were in the tournament, I'm sorry, I was not a fan of these teams. Miami and FAU, what?
Welcome
I heard
to the transfer portal NCAA. That's this saying, is the way that college sport.
San Diego, I'm sorry, looked pathetic on Monday. They picked it up in the second half. They should have not been the final 2 out of all of the March Madness teams. I mean, I know Gonzaga got knocked out early. Kansas got knocked out early. But gosh, they had much better games than what we saw Monday night.
But this is what's going to happen in the NCAA from now on.
Arkansas, Kansas was exciting.
This
was, like you said, it was domination by UConn, but that San Diego State didn't deserve to even be there. It was. I'm sorry if you're fans of either of these teams. I don't think that it was a good Final Four.
It was. I don't see the numbers yet, right? And there's a reason for that. Everybody was focused on the women's NCAA championship, which we'll get into in a minute.
I wouldn't say everybody, but
well, there was a lot. It blew away any ratings that they've ever had in the history of their game because of one specific player. We'll get into that in a minute. But on the men's side, this is the new college, not only basketball, but this is the new college football, new college basketball, new baseball. The transfer portal is changing everything. These little schools can get 2 or 3 kids to come in and change the entire program. Look, all props to Coach Hurley. If you've seen the history from the UConn coach and his family lineage, right? He's Bobby Hurley's brother, the famous Duke point guard.
So I was just going to ask in general, that's the coach per se, but what about the players? Like, where is the actual, do you know who transferred from another school to go to San Diego or to UConn?
I would love to get into all that. We have 1 hour. And look, 1 hour commercial free sports with balls. Absolutely love it. But you can look up kids that did transfer. And look, FAU has transfers. San Diego State had transfers. All these guys transfer to these schools, and there's NIL. So you can get a kid that should be going to Duke, but FAU can offer him $2 million from a car dealership down the street, and he's going to FAU. And this is the new NCAA. So
I know you keep saying that.
Done.
It just wasn't a good game Monday night. It just was not.
Yeah, but 3 out of the 4 schools that were in that Final Four
was their first time ever to make it there.
There you go. Like, I mean, Miami, FAU,
UConn,
San Diego State.
It was their 5th title.
Yeah.
So they're used to it. They have the experience. These kids don't, obviously, because they haven't been part of the program for that long.
Recruiting is going to be a you know what now. I'm sorry, but look, Krzyzewski, I don't know if he knew something from Duke, but he got out in the perfect time. Is Duke going to ever be a powerhouse again? Probably not. The landscape has changed. It's so like you don't go to Duke anymore and say, hey, wow, I want to go there because it has such a great history. That's not the case anymore. Screw the history. I want the money. They're like, oh, I'm going to go to FAU, San Diego State. I'm going to go to Miami because they're going to pay me $4 million to play basketball for them for 2 years. Done.
I did meet a girl and her boyfriend that traveled in from Miami to see them play.
Yeah, and I wasn't in the stadium. Were you there?
No, I wasn't in the stadium. No,
I didn't
care to.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Cougs weren't in it. Texas wasn't in it. No Texas teams were in it.
You can recruit players, and it's like joining up with your buddies.
In 2016, I worked the Final Four that came to Houston. Villanova was there. Yep. Gonzaga was there, and I can't remember the other 2 teams because those were ultimately what it came down to. And it was just so much more excitement. It was such a better game. I watched clips from it the other night too.
Those are great.
Winning on a buzzer beater. I mean,
now you like every year in the Final Four,
that's how it should be. That's what March Madness is.
You're going to have these. Yeah, but okay. You want these Cinderella teams to make it. I said this last week. You want them to make it to the Sweet 16, even maybe the Elite 8. That's what you want. It's fun. It's entertaining, but you don't want them in the Final Four because you get what we just got. You want that, like, it's fun to have a Cinderella team for a little bit, but when it comes down to it, on the Final Four, you want your blue bloods. You want Kentucky, Duke, North Carolina, UConn, UCLA. You want those powerhouse teams, but it's just not going to be like that anymore. And it sucks. Like that's the NIL and transfer portal have completely changed NCAA forever, because we said it earlier in the show. Once you open this can of worms, you can't put it back. So there's no way of them really kind of condensing this thing and saying, okay, well, this, and you think basketball is bad. Look at what Colorado's doing with Deion Sanders. Wait till you see what happens in NCAA football. These powerhouses that we are so used to seeing, they're about to be thrown out the window, and some of these little schools will start making really, really big marks, like we saw with San Diego State, FAU, and Miami. Now, Miami's not a little school. They were a football powerhouse for a long time. They actually played pretty good the last few years. But basketball, they've never made it even close to this far. And now here they are. Last time there was that I think Miami, when they started their basketball program, I forgot who won the national championship, but they haven't even been close to this. And now they're a basketball school? What?
I know. They are known for football.
Yeah.
Austin Bauer.
How much money can University of Miami give you?
Austin Bowers commented and saying, change the whole dynamic of college sports will make for better teams all around instead of powerhouses like you were just mentioning. But he said he disagrees. Let the small dogs have a piece of the pie too. LOL. The thing is, though, if like you said, Duke, the history, the name, Villanova, like Gonzaga, there could possibly still be spark there if there's other like businesses around it to support that spark, as in money. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Say if there's,
some of these
another
big powerhouse schools aren't in wealthy neighborhoods, if you will. Like if you had the choice to go to Nebraska for $1 million or Miami for $7 million, where are you going?
Don't ask me that. I'm a beach person.
Yeah,
I'm going.
So are most of the people. Okay, we'll move over to
That's different.
The women's side, the NCAA Women's Championship. LSU won a championship. 3 of those players were first-year players and transfers.
And look at the coach, Kim Mulkey. I mean, she is legendary from Baylor. I mean, she has a long history of just accolades that she's been able to accomplish in her playing career and as a coach.
Yeah. They were all transfer.
She led them all.
3 of them were transfer players, including the star that got into it with Caitlin. The transfer portal is absolutely changing every aspect of college sports. It's unbelievable. And what Austin's saying is let the big dogs eat. Or I'm sorry, let the small dogs eat. That's fine. But the problem you're going to run into is ratings, right? So these networks want ratings. Nobody go back and look at the ratings of this Final Four. I bet they weren't good. Nobody's watching FAU and San Diego State.
You know what's starting to change too? Is while these powerhouses, like that's what these conferences are going to be, whether it be football or basketball or whatever other sport, we see the Cougs going into the Big 12 this year, the SEC, if it expands, whatever it may be. I think about the smaller schools, they're now being bought out by branches. So SFA secretly is about to turn into a University of Texas campus. And there's an A&M in Florida. So all of these smaller schools are going to be under a larger name from a larger university. And I don't know if that changes the dynamic or not, but it might.
Yeah, I mean, it's in college sports has changed. We knew this was coming, and you see it now. What's going on? Look, UConn won. UConn is up there with the elites now as far as dominance with North Carolina, Duke, UConn, but now you're going to see different teams getting up. Would you rather watch the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers, or would you rather watch the New York Yankees and Boston Red Sox?
I mean, that's history right there.
Yeah, that's
sort
of where we are in college right now. It's like these smaller schools. Yes, it's fun and exciting, but at the end of the day, it doesn't draw the big audiences that you want.
And that's where you're starting to pull apart from your first statement, Jeff, because like you said, you want to see Duke, you want to see the Villanovas, you want to see the Blue Bloods, but now you're saying, oh, well, no, we're not going to have that. And you're saying it's going to be disintegrated because of the money value.
Yep.
But now you're saying that, no, we still want to gravitate towards those bigger schools.
Yeah.
So which one is it?
The money value. Look,
because you're saying like, okay, the kids are going to go where the money is, but you're saying people are drawn to the bigger school names.
Recruiting is going to be a pain in the what. It's just going to be a pain in the ass for these guys to look. Alabama, I don't know if you're going to see that much of a drawback for Alabama, but you're going to see an uptick in the Colorado. You're going to see an uptick in Florida State and University of Miami. You're going to see an uptick in these other schools that have destinations that kids want to go to, right? Nebraska, see ya. Who, unless you're paying me a lot of money, who's going to go to college in Nebraska? Before, Nebraska was a breeding for NFL players. It was unbelievable. Now, you better be one hell of a recruiter to get me to go to Nebraska for 3 years.
I'm saying that the fan interest is going to die out if you're not having these big
That's so
Powerhouse.
yeah, that's my point. What I was saying is like, yes, it's fun to see them.
I was curious how this last weekend at Energy Stadium the attendance was going to be, obviously, because what we've discussed, San Diego State, what? Aztecs. UConn has obviously more of a name. Like I said, it's their 5th title. But I was curious, and it looked like it drew in the crowds. It did. But will that always be the case if you're looking, like you said, a Colorado or Nebraska or a small school somewhere?
There's 2 things that affect this. Number one is the one and done
Austin
rule.
Bauer says a lot of people like the underdog, and that's true.
Yeah, but
you cheer for the underdog
for sure for the first 2-3 rounds, but then you get the product that we saw in the championship game. It was not even close. It was terrible.
I tweeted out, what am I watching?
It's just
I feel so bad because I'm positive Polly, but that was not
positive Polly.
I don't know. I just made it up.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
I just put
That's a good one, though.
I just put a name with a P.
Positive Polly.
You know, people say negative Nancy. I was like, oh, well, I'll be positive Polly.
I like old positive Polly. That needs to be a thing. All right. But look, the transfer portal, college football, college basketball, the landscape is changing. We knew it was coming. It's sports in general. Nothing can, like, things always change regardless. It's just a matter of time. Like Nebraska, Colorado, Miami, they were powerhouses a long time ago. Florida State, University of Florida. Now, for the last 10 years, you're talking about Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, Texas A&M, these colleges, and now it's going to change again.
I mean, can we just for a second pause, because the 2023 college football playoff, Alabama wasn't even in it.
Yeah,
which was a shocker.
There you go.
But
things are a changing.
Thinking of things changing, you mentioned it a minute ago with Caitlin Clark against LSU.
Beast.
LSU won. Caitlin Clark. You
John
said
Cena.
something before the show started about agendas. Are you wanting to go down this road or not?
No. Look, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but hopefully it is. If we would have done the show 2 days ago, it would have probably been a different story. I'm glad it's sort of, I don't want to say brushed under the rug, but people were making a big deal out of Caitlin Clark getting trash talked to her when she had done it to other players. Then they brought in it just turned into people, instead of enjoying the game. Look, I absolutely posted it out on social media. I loved it. Trash talk is part of the game. And if you're that good and you're that competitive, it's fine. I absolutely love it. People just had certain agendas that they wanted to push out there. And wow, it just, social media blew up with this stuff, and it absolutely drove me crazy, because here was 2 competitive teams that the women's national basketball or college basketball has never seen anything like this. They had more viewers than they've ever had in the history of their game, but people wanted to push it in a different direction. And I'm sorry, but that was messed up by all of y'all doing that. The point is, this girl, Caitlin Clark, is special. She's phenomenal. Like I play basketball 4 or 5 times a week. Watching her, I'm like, my goodness, this.
I mean, how many points did she drop?
She had 40, 40, and 30 in the last 3 games.
Wow. So at Final Four Fan Fest, in between Keith Urban and Tim McGraw coming on stage, Charles Barkley comes out and speaks to the crowd, and he just says, you know, he's talking about, oh, tomorrow night's game's going to be great. You know, UConn or Aztecs, like, who are you have? And then he put on a shirt and tried to rally the crowd or whatnot. But he goes, I just got to give props to my girl, Caitlin Clark. She is putting the face of, I want to say WNBA, of women's Final Four. Like, she is making a name for herself. And so, to your point, let it stay on the court.
Yes.
Just play the game.
Look, she talked trash the prior 2 games. The LSU players, look, LSU was a better team. They won. Good for them. They can talk trash too. You see the NBA players do it all day, every day, and there was nothing different than this. And I'm glad that these 2 girls and these 2 programs and look, I don't watch WNCAA basketball a lot, but I did tune in. Yeah. I watched this game, and I watched.
You know what?
Like she's phenomenal.
You know what? This gave you a reason even more to get your attention.
Yeah.
So
I was all for it.
They did something right.
Yeah, and look, she's coming back next year. A couple of the LSU
I'm not talking
players.
about just her play.
Oh.
I'm just saying. grabbed your attention.
It did. It did.
All right. So you think UConn deserved it?
Oh, by far. UConn, better team. If you don't know the story behind Coach Hurley, his brother Bobby Hurley, their dad, who's a Hall of Fame coach as well, please take the time and watch the special on those guys. It is phenomenal. The head coach of UConn is Bob Hurley. It's an incredible story about perseverance. Like, it's unbelievable the stuff he went through, being in the shadows of his brother, who was quite possibly the greatest point guard in NCAA history, and him trying to make it at Seton Hall. It's phenomenal. And in fact, Bob Hurley ended up coaching as an assistant under his brother. And now, of course, Bob Hurley is at Arizona State, who was in the tournament but lost. And then you have his brother, who just won a national championship at UConn. It is a fantastic story. We talked about storylines before it started with Jim Nance, him calling his last NCAA tournament game, him being a University of Houston alumni, and whether Houston could do it. But this was a great story. March Madness got it right. They had an incredible tournament. Now, Final Four teams, whatever. I don't know the final numbers on who watched, but I enjoyed it. I'm glad UConn won. They deserved it.
I am amongst those two teams for sure. No, I go back to personal reasons with Jim Nance, U of H, Houston, all of that. But then again, I feel like Houston is just a special place where it does give a lot of opportunity to people to become someone. I'm not sure. I've never lived in another city. I visited a ton of cities, never lived in one, but I feel like it is a land of opportunity.
Sure.
And so good for Jim Nance. And now he's about to go on to the Masters and do his PGA Tour thing.
Good transition.
Per usual.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
Yep, that's not where I was going to go, but you know what? We're there. So the Masters are taking place this coming weekend. Tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. 9:38 to be specific. Tiger Woods will tee off in Augusta National. I'm excited, but I'm not as excited as I was last year. So why?
Tiger's, I guess, watching the press conferences.
Comeback?
Yeah, it's not a comeback story anymore. He's even like, I don't know. That's kind of how he's approaching this. They tried to make this about LIV versus PGA, which...
Well, that's where I was going to go, because I saw this mentioned a couple days ago on some show, and then I was looking it up before coming here too, and some of the LIV players are going to be in this PGA Tour, and what's the controversy there? And it just goes back to, guys, people went to this LIV Tour to get paid. They wouldn't really care about the game of golf. I mean, of course, it's their passion. It's what they love to do. But they went there for the money tag. Now they're back, and it's more of a serious competition, even though it will be fun for these guys. And that's my take on it as far as LIV players coming to play in the Masters.
Yeah, I don't... just listening to the guys talk and kind of getting an inside view of what's going on over there at Augusta, I don't see this being any sort of an issue. These guys are all professionals. Did the LIV, the whole thing with Tiger and with Fred Couples was that they had played the game for 40 something years. They didn't want it to be disrespected, and talking about the PGA Tour. But these guys aren't really disrespecting them. They're not talking trash. Phil Mickelson said some stuff. I think Greg Norman is the biggest advocator for like the LIV and talking, like trying to bring down the PGA Tour. But when it comes down to it, these guys are all professionals. They all respect each other. And I'm sure that these guys like Tiger and them understand they went over there for money. They know that. But they tee off tomorrow and they're all the same. Like, let's go.
So there's 18 of them, 18 LIV players that are going to be in this. And 6 of them had gotten, the green jacket from winning the Masters. So Phil Mickelson, Charles Schwartzel, Bubba Watson, Sergio Garcia, Patrick Reed, and Dustin Johnson. All of them have received the green jacket. So you know what? They're just excited. They're happy to be back in the Masters. It is what it is. It's golf. Let them play.
Throw some shade on each other every now and then. It's a competitive banter. I absolutely love it. We just talked about it. When it comes down to it, when they tee off, all that stuff's behind them, and they're trying to win a Masters. And the storyline is Tiger Woods.
Hold up, Jeff. We just got some angry stickers on that comment.
Uh-oh.
I don't know who that was or what it was about. If you did that, please let me know, because I'm curious what that was about. About letting players just play the game.
Look,
let them golf.
Everybody wants Tiger Woods to do well. We all know that. Nobody moves the needle like Tiger Woods. It's not as big of a story as it was last year. That's his first Masters, coming back off his surgeries after the car wreck. He seems to be in a better place, but I don't know where his game is. We don't see his. Last year, there were blimps hovering over, getting pictures of him practicing. This year, it's not like that. It's just sort of like he's there, and let's see how he plays. But let's not get it mixed up. Tiger Woods is the story. That's the storyline of the Masters. Will he make the cut? And if he can somehow be in contention on Saturday and Sunday, because if he is, that is a win for the PGA. That's a win for the fans. That's a win for everybody in general. If Tiger Woods is somehow in the top 10 come late Saturday or Sunday morning, millions of fans are going to tune in. That is unbelievable. Rory McIlroy probably has the best shot. Scotty Scheffler. You've got a bunch of guys that are probably going to shoot better and maybe have a better shot. But look, again, it's Tiger. That's it. It's Tiger Woods. That is the Masters, and that's what we're all watching. If Jack Nicklaus could somehow strap him up, then we'd be watching him. But if Tiger's not in it come the weekend, I'll have it on in the background.
There you go. Wow, I'm shocked. This guy loves golf.
Yeah, and I look. It'll be fun. And Jordan Spieth, I hope he's up there. I'll have it on, but I'm not gonna. If Tiger's on, I'm going to pay attention. I'm gonna download or not download, but upload ESPN and where they follow him hole to hole, and you can follow Tiger hole to hole. I will watch that instead of the whole tournament.
Mm-hmm.
You just follow him every single hole.
Yeah.
I don't like the other guys. They're great and whatever, but until they do the spectacular things that Tiger's done, I'm not interested in watching them. John Rahm's amazing. I hope they all play well, but I think everybody's rooting for Tiger to be in contention on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean Tiger's the face of golf.
Yeah,
he just is. So I mean, I don't disagree with your statements.
We didn't
there,
even
Jeff.
get okay. We've gone. We only have 10 minutes left, and we haven't even got 13 minutes left, and we haven't even gotten into Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson in the NFL. So
I know.
Let's
go. Gonna say the NFL. I don't know if you wanted to save it or if you wanted to get into it with these last 10 minutes, but yeah, Lamar Jackson, where is he gonna go? I think the reason nothing has come about his free agency is because one, he manages himself and he needs to get professional with it. He needs help. He needs some representation help in general. Two, look at his past couple of seasons and what he's able to and not accomplish. To accomplish and what he hasn't accomplished. Injuries, the way he plays makes him injury prone. And so how far he's going to get you with a new team, a new system may be good, may not be good. It's just like kind of rolling the dice. Three, the draft is coming up. And the Ravens have a chance to trade up to get another great quarterback. You don't know. Obviously, CJ Stroud and Bryce Young are going to go first, but they could trade up. Ravens could trade up to be somewhere to get a new quarterback that could step in place of Lamar Jackson. And then as far as, I'll stop there before I get into, Aaron Rodgers. What are your thoughts on Lamar?
Wow. First off, Lamar Jackson wants a guaranteed contract worth Deshaun Watson money, if not more, which is $230, $250 plus. The NFL is not going to allow that to happen. We said this last year. I said it before this whole thing started. Then we found out that he asked Baltimore for a trade. We found that out this past Friday. This was early March 8th, I think. You hit the nail on the head a minute ago. If he had representation, Lamar Jackson would be at a camp. He'd be on a roster right now with a huge contract. That's look, the NFL is a business, and these guys work with certain people and don't work with certain people. Last time we were on air, we found out that he hired this random, I don't want to say random guy, it's one of his business partners, but he's not a legitimate agent that's certified with the NFLPA, so he cannot negotiate with the NFLPA or the NFL for Lamar Jackson. And he's made these mistakes after mistakes after mistakes, and it's like, I feel like teams are real. This is the former MVP, 26-year-old, incredible talent in the NFL, and people are shying away from him, not because of his talent. It's because of what he's been doing. he would have a massive contract already if he would just hired a representation and kind of stayed off the social media map and kind of going through, I want Deshaun Watson money. What is wrong with staying in Baltimore and trying to win a championship?
We don't know what's going on in
Nothing.
the front office executives, though. We don't know how he's being treated there. Not saying that it's bad.
I think him and Harbaugh have a great relationship. I would think. Look,
Harbaugh always puts him first man. Like he always supports
for all
and has been behind Jackson.
From what I've heard, this is all about Lamar Jackson. It's always been all about Lamar Jackson. And it's like, okay, take a step back. Do one for the team. I've heard so many people come on air and talk about how they took pay cuts and how they adjusted their contracts in order to stay with the team and win a championship. What's more important? That extra 50? Do you really need 250 guaranteed? I'm sorry. Can you not live on 150 million? Is that you can't live on that?
I mean,
like that's ridiculous. Like that's unbelievable that you think.
Look, it's all about comparison these days. It's all about keeping up with the Joneses. I mean, it really always has been since the beginning of time. But in the NFL, one quarterback wants this. Well, the other one's going to demand that he gets the same thing because he believes he's just as good or better.
I can't even tell you where he's going to play.
That's where it comes from.
I would think that he eventually takes his franchise tag and goes back and plays with Baltimore. But at this point, if you're a Raven fan, are you welcoming him back? Are you like, yay, we got Lamar back? But this is, I mean, you almost.
That's where it gets awkward. We've seen it so many times. I think we saw it with Baker Mayfield too, to where it's like you look at all your other options. You have free agency to say, okay, Lamar Jackson's kind of different because it's a non-exclusive franchise tag. But with other guys that are looking at their options and then they stay with the same team, it's rather awkward.
I don't know what's going on.
And it's not the first time that it's happened.
The Lamar Jackson situation is so fluid. It's unbelievable. I don't know what's going to happen. I would love to tell you that he's going to go here. He's going to go there. I have no idea. I have no clue. And on the flip side of that, there's another quarterback that still hasn't committed. Aaron freaking Rodgers.
That's where I was going to go next too, because Aaron Rodgers, two completely different reasons. We know the talent that Rodgers has. They're completely different quarterbacks, right? And so when you look at these two, you're also looking at what system are they going to fit in. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, there's a reason why it hasn't happened yet.
Yes, I agree 100%. This is Aaron being Aaron, and I think the Jets I heard a report today that the San Francisco 49ers are sort of backdooring in this whole deal, that if it falls through, that they're willing to make kind of a trade and go in and swoop Aaron Rodgers. The Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets thing is not a done deal.
Didn't San Francisco just trade for a quarterback?
No, they had
I know
Trey
they
Lance,
got rid of
Jimmy.
Jimmy.
Brock Purdy. Yeah, they got rid of.
Yeah, okay, they had Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy, but I mean Brock Purdy or Aaron Rodgers. It's sort of a no-brainer. But I'm hearing all sorts of stuff. So this Aaron Rodgers to the New York Jets thing, not a done deal.
As a culture standpoint, I do not see Aaron Rodgers in San Francisco. San Francisco is very rule-driven, including the vaccinations. And so I just culturally, I don't see Aaron Rodgers there. But
somebody's got to pay. Somebody's got to pay $60 million to pay for Aaron Rodgers to play for them. The Jets thing is not a done deal. It's that we're leading up to the draft in a few weeks, and it's going to be really fun before we get there. The Houston Texans have the number 2 pick. We hear that C.J. Stroud is going number 1, and then Bryce Young. I'm worried if I'm a Texans fan. I don't know about Bryce Young. I don't. And then you hear Will Levis
because of his size.
Yes. Wow. It's like Kyler Murray. And he's injury prone. Then you hear the Will Levis thing. I think we're going to see some shockers in the first 3 picks. They're expecting 3 quarterbacks to go 1, 2, and 3. I don't know.
The thing is with Texans, how much further can you go down? Davis Mills, and they've made a lot of moves this offseason, which has been good for Houston. But, what can that hurt having a guy coming out of college? And obviously, you said there could be a Rona injury, but look where they're at right now.
Maybe we'll know something by next week. Who knows? Look, we want to
Kevin
thank
Anthony says, "Go Cowboys." Sorry, I'm
Oh my
late.
God,
Thanks for
here we
joining, though.
go,
Thank
yeah.
you for joining us,
Thank
though,
God
Kevin.
Zeke's gone. Look, Diamond Auto Spa is an elite detailing company that offers only the best quality of work and customer service. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, ceramic coatings, paint protection film, vinyl wraps, window tinting. We don't cut customers. We detail them. Want to thank Diamond Auto Spa. Also want to thank Christian's Tailgate for having us here every week. We'll have another show next week. Cannot wait. Every time we do this now, it just gets, we just go through so fast.
I know. We don't get all of our material in.
Love it. Absolutely. That means we're having fun. And
That's
thank
how
you
it's
guys.
supposed
Look,
to be. Hey, today was more of a serious one, but I think it fits the weather here in Houston.
Yeah, man. Go follow us on social media, Sports
It's
with
getting
Balls.
cold. Have a good Easter weekend
Yeah.
this weekend. Get your jackets on, get your raincoats. It's going to be like that.
We'll see you next weekend. I'm Jeff Michael. She's Lauren Leal. This is Sports with Balls. See you.
Bye.